All right, okay. Oh, God. The camera's overheating. No, dude. Hopefully it doesn't crash for this recording. Anyways, what's up, buddies? Welcome back to another episode of The Poor Man Road to Glory. So, as you can see on the screen, we do have the Team of the Year voting that opened up today. Now, my plan was to actually do a separate Road to Glory recording today. With our grind, you know, gameplay, hopefully a good pack pull finally, because have we even packed a Centurion player? I don't know, actually. They would be in this not dream team, but they would be in this team had I packed a Centurion player. So, and then after content and all that stuff, I was going to do a separate standalone Team of the Year video. So that might still be the game plan here. But what we're going to do is let's see what 6 p.m. content there is and all of that stuff, right? And if there's really nothing going on, because it is technically a Tuesday, we might actually just include my Team of the Year discussion and vote within the episode. I think these are really, really fun to do. Every single year we do a heavy discussion and conversation about Team of the Year, my vote, who gets in, who doesn't, and then we proceed to get abused all over social media and in the comment sections and stuff for whatever of my picks end up always being, even though I like to think I've got a pretty good footballing brain, we seem to always get abused. So let's see what 6 p.m. content is. We'll check that out first, and if there isn't anything great, we'll then do as I mentioned, we'll do the Team of the Year within this episode. If not, and there is a lot of good content, then you'll have to wait by a few hours to see my Team of the Year vote and then my reasons for such Team of the Year vote, at least on YouTube. Or you can jump onto Twitch, twitch.tv/Nick20t. We do all of this stuff live on stream. It's the first link in the YouTube description if you wanted to join. We've continued to play some games. Taremi's stats look particularly good, but it's because we smashed a couple of players. This card sucks. We're 2-2 in playoffs right now. I would argue that most of this team is performing horrifically right now. And even to the point where I'm bringing on Messi and it feels like EA have nerfed Messi, or they have nerfed me, maybe. I don't know. I seem to be just terrible right now. So anyways, it's not going particularly well, but it is what it is. Gameplay today I didn't find awesome. So maybe we will, maybe we won't play gameplay within the episode. Like I said, it kind of was almost depressing how bad gameplay it was earlier this morning. So I don't know if I want to put myself through that. We did get what I'm going to say is the final win towards this objective within the draft. So we got another 584 plus player pack. I'm not going to go for this one. I just can't be asked in 3 days. It's not going to be worthwhile. We have too many other things to grind. Speaking of grinding, we are continuing the BPM to 80 plus pack grind. We should have a good chunk of those packs to open today. But let's 83 plus double player. Okay, I was gonna say let's think about opening that pack too, but we won't. 2 player packs and up we tend to hold. Another 83 plus double player pack just from scoring 40 is always fantastic. And that's it for content for today in terms of the milestones and stuff like that. Okay. All right, so no gameplay content. Wait, do they not even describe the players and why they got their usually (6 feet, 4-star, 3-star, 99 heading. Okay. 97 jumping. Finesse, leadership, outside shot. I mean, he does have quite a few bicycle kicks. Like, unless this is 82 rated, this is such bad content. 83 rated and an inform sucks, though. I mean, 83 rateds are like 800 coins, so that's 8k plus the inform. This is still a 20k value, right? 20k value. So he's about the price of himself being fodder. Does that make sense? So unless you just need 87 fodder, that would probably be the only reason I would do it. This guy is 88. What was his cost again? Nah, that's not even worth doing for an 88. Not even worth doing for fodder. So I got to do the Centurion challenge. We've continued to craft 81 plus double upgrades with all of our gold dupes. I need to do Kyrian Trippier, which I need the final moments pick from this, but I just can't pack an untradeable Twente or M&M player from the silver upgrades. We've got silver upgrade packs to open today, so hopefully that changes. The refresh on the position modifiers is always a W. Wait, is that guy the only thing we get today? Raul Garcia? I mean, there's a lot to do, so I'm not really that upset about dead content for one day. 100 player upgrade, Eric Bailly, we still got to get done. Winter Silver upgrades, obviously I'm not going to do this until we get the 80 plus packs done. Wow, that actually is it for content. Dear God, dude. That's legitimately it for content. That's actually it. Well, my friends, dare I say that today's episode is going to be focused around the Team of the Year vote. Is that okay? I can't fake this and pretend like there's anything for me to care about. Project Team of the Year grind is going very well. I mean, to update you guys on that, YouTube, before we look at the Team of the Year. I mean, the Team of the Year vote is at least going to make us excited for Project Team of the Year. So 213 packs built. I think 10, maybe 13, maybe 15 of those packs are the silver 4-player packs. The rest are pretty much all Project Team of the Year packs. So we're up to 200, maybe 200 plus packs saved for Project Team of the Year. So that's a very exciting update for you guys. But other than that, there's just nothing else. So why don't we do our Team of the Year vote? And have that discussion here with the Twitch chat as well. So I'm going to bring alerts back.
Hey, man.
Real quickly. I don't know where we stand on in terms of alerts. Ryan, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. So we'll jump over to this page here. Matt! Thank you, man. We're bringing alerts back. Matt with the raid. Let's go! Gillette, the best a man can get. We were just watching a PUBG video with me, Matt HD,
Hey,
Zway, and Nep in a team. And honestly, man, I miss those times, Matt. I really miss those times, bro. They're so fun. They're so fun. Me and you shitting on Zway. Zway getting so mad at you and being too much of a beta to get mad at me so he doesn't get mad at me. I really do truly miss those times, man. They were the best of times. So anyways, much love to you, brother. I hope you're well. Thank you very much for the raid. Bless up to you. And let's get our Team of the Year vote underway here. So, I think, first things first, let's go into full screen here. So, some of these will be a lot more obvious than others. I would argue that in goal, there's just no argument other than Thibaut Courtois being in there. Do I have to like slide him in? I think I do. So to me, Thibaut Courtois, 100% lock in goal. The defense here, before we even look into things, I think my chat was trolling me earlier today with some of the defenders, so I really hope they were trolling, because to me, there's pretty much one or two locks in the defense. One of them is David Alaba. The season he had, I mean, even playing for Austria was pretty good in pretty much every game. But the lights out season he had, how instrumental he was for Real Madrid in the Champions League title. David Alaba is a lock. I would argue Antonio Rudiger is a lock for how good he was at Chelsea, and then shifting into Real and being instrumental in their push again to the Champions League. You could argue that, like, you know, with the way Germany got knocked out in the World Cup and stuff, maybe not Antonio Rudiger specifically, but David Alaba is a lock. And then the wingbacks for me is the discussion point. If you go based off of the season or the tail end of the season, Cancelo had an amazing season and could get in. To me, if you go off of the league season, Hakimi was goated. And if you go off the league season, a lot of people seem to disrespect this guy, but Theo Hernandez, to me, should be in. And then, to me, Theo Hernandez had an amazing World Cup. He did make one mistake, which all of the naysayers are going to say, no, he was terrible in the World Cup. He was the worst in the World Cup. Awful because of that one dumb penalty he gave away. And I would agree, that penalty was awful. It was really bad. But outside of that, I thought Theo Hernandez had a fantastic World Cup, other than that issue, and had an amazing season. So to me, and this is one of those contentious issues, we as I mentioned earlier, tend to then get abused by our opinions. But I think Theo Hernandez and Alaba is a lock. Now, some people were saying that they are not choices, which would be the most hilarious thing on earth. Wait, hold on. Hold on, they actually aren't picks? Hey, EA. You're putting guys like Trippier and Zule and Bremer and someone that's been injured most of the season in, but not David Alaba, who was by far one of, if not the best defender center back in the calendar year. Grimaldo is in there! Klaus is in there! Wait. Biragi? Who even is Biragi? Even? Where is Alaba and where is Antonio Rudiger, dude? Santa Claus got in? Anyways. I'm a bit of a Marquinhos fanboy, and I think he could be part of the conversation here, but what? Okay.
Hey, Batch.
What is happening here?
Trippier goated. The disrespect SMH.
You watch your damn mouth, dude. Trippier goated. Trippier is goated in the right conversation, but he's not goated enough to be anywhere near a team of the year. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and already go with something that I think is going to make people pissed off. I'm not picking Cancelo for my wingbacks. I'm not. I would put Theo Hernandez. Dude, Hakimi, with what he did with Morocco, and also his season at PSG, but what he did with Morocco deserves to be in the team of the year, in my opinion. Theo Hernandez, the season he had with AC Milan, maybe not so hot of recent, but, and then the awesome World Cup he had, with -1 mistake. I think, personally, that Theo Hernandez and Hakimi should get in as wingbacks. Now, you may disagree. I don't care. Suck your mom. Cry about it. But to me, those are my picks. It's my vote, my discussion. I think. Now, I'll give you an answer as to why I think Cancelo might still get in, and it's because EA are idiots. Bro, no shot Alaba or Antonio Rudiger aren't in. I mean, Eder Militao, especially, I would argue for Brazil. Damn, this is going to be a tough one. Because I honestly think Thiago Silva was incredible at Chelsea and incredible for Brazil. I think Marquinhos and Eder Militao throughout the season, Eder Militao and Marquinhos for their clubs, but Militao was instrumental for Real. Maybe not Marquinhos this year, but bro, you gotta give a shout to Thiago Silva, dude. The guy is like a fine wine, man. Hey? The guy is like a fine wine. How many people, I would assume most of the FIFA community completely ignore Thiago Silva, right? Dude, once again, Brazil got robbed in that game against Croatia. They smashed Croatia the whole game. Croatia with 1,000 players behind the ball. And then a deflected goal equalized in the 117th minute, which, by the way, was Croatia's first shot on target that game to take it to pens to then win. I think the world outside of Croatians, look, I understand Croatian fans, you guys are going to hate me for saying this, but I think the world got robbed an amazing semifinal of Argentina versus Brazil. Nevertheless, up until that point, I thought Thiago Silva was incredible. And I think a lot of people, I don't think would have this as their backline. Genuinely. But if you really think about it, this is where the abuse is going to come in. If you really think about it, I think all four of those guys deserve to be in that conversation. I really do. Militao isn't good enough. It's not about what's good enough or what's not. It's about the season they had. What are you talking about? So again, no Virgil, Nick. Dude, come on, man. I'm Dutch and I love Virgil van Dijk. And if you put Virgil van Dijk in your team of the damn year, ahead of even Thiago Silva or Eder Militao, but let's be real, ahead of Alaba or Antonio Rudiger, you're just deluded. And this is someone that's a massive Virgil fan and someone that's half Dutch that loves Virgil and wants him for his Dutch team. Like, I wish Virgil deserved to get a shout for team of the year. You're deluded. You're deluded. I personally think you're deluded. He's been abysmal for Liverpool. Now, for the Netherlands, Virgil was fantastic. I will say that, but so was Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake was incredible for the Netherlands. And I would say probably better for City than Virgil is for Liverpool. And it's not like is Nathan Ake even in the voting? I mean, it's not like I'm putting Nathan Ake in there. If I'm not putting Nathan Ake in there, how am I putting Virgil van Dijk in there? Tomori didn't even get selected for England. Like, yes, he had a decent season with AC Milan. As someone that I know is Canadian, I would love Tomori to get in Team of the Year so then I could put him in my Canadian team if I were to pack him. Tomori shouldn't be in the argument. Like, I'm not going to put in Tomori and then ignore someone like Thiago Silva and Eder Militao. So, to me, I would go with Thiago Silva and Eder Militao from the options we have. And Antonio Rudiger, you could make an argument as to maybe he shouldn't be in that conversation because yes, he came into Real Madrid and then was fantastic in their run has been fantastic for Real Madrid in their run. I'm mixing up players. Has been fantastic for Real in some ways. Rudiger shouldn't be part of the conversation purely because of like how abysmal Germany were and among other things. So I'm torn. If I had all options available, I think the only thing that would change in this team would be David Alaba for somebody. It would either be Theo, Alaba, Militao, Hakimi, or it would be like Theo, Alaba, Thiago Silva, Hakimi, or maybe if you want to consider the season that Cancelo had, maybe it would be Theo, Alaba, Militao, Cancelo. Like, there is one player that gets in or out of there. I don't think Ruben Dias gets anywhere near it, in my opinion, no. I'm actually very happy with this, guys. I really, 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 really do think that he gets in. Theo is everything Trent gets slated for, yet Trent makes Team of the Year after Team of the Year after Team of the Year. So, I mean, you've proved my point that he should be in then. Alaba laughing face. If you don't think Alaba should be in the Team of the Year, you don't have a footballing brain. Or you just don't watch anything other than the Premier League and think you know football based off of just watching the Premier League. And I, like I said, just like the comments I'm seeing in the Twitch chat, I know I'm going to get slated for these choices, but I truly believe that this is probably the best set of options we have. You could take out Thiago Silva maybe for Cancelo. You could take out Thiago Silva maybe for Ruben Dias. But bro, the season that Thiago Silva's had and how well he played for Brazil, maybe I'm biased, but bro, this guy is like the Messi of the defensive setup, man. He rolled back the years to like his prime at AC Milan. From what I was watching him at for Brazil in the World Cup. I mean, I know Chelsea are a bit mudded right now too, but he's been pretty incredible for probably one of the shining lights at Chelsea overall as well when he has been playing. Chelsea fans, would we say? That's not enough to get yourself in a Team of the Year, but Thiago Silva might be the only one that I'm struggling to justify completely. I just don't know who gets in. I'd probably put David Alaba in for Thiago Silva, honestly. I mean, Upamecano was pretty cracked through Gvardiol. You could make an argument, but Gvardiol, just for what he did at the World Cup, I don't think should get in. Romero, hell no. Otamendi, hell no. No. I mean, you could make the argument because of the World Cup, but
Hey, man.
The thing is people will say if you're including Thiago Silva for their World Cup, for his World Cup, you should include Otamendi or Romero. And I can see where your argument is there. I could see. I could see. And again, to people saying, dude, you're only basing Hakimi getting in for the World Cup, Cancelo should get in over club season, maybe. But Cancelo didn't even get into his team for Portugal and hasn't been great and or used very much either by Pep recently. So the argument you're making about me taking out Hakimi to put in Cancelo can be made the flip side. If I had Cancelo in here, you could make the flip side argument of Hakimi should get in ahead of Cancelo. You feel me on that? It's not that I disagree, but I think you just have to make, I think I'm going to stick with this decision. I'm kind of changing my mind on Thiago Silva because your guys' theory on, based off of what I'm saying for Thiago Silva, Otamendi should get in, or maybe Romero should get in. And I don't really think Romero or Otamendi should get in, which then would prove that probably Thiago Silva shouldn't get in. I just don't know who I put in ahead of Thiago Silva, man. You know what? what might make even more sense is doing this. Going even completely flip of the curve and just choosing, look, if I don't have the option for Alaba, why don't I put in Cancelo? What do you guys think? Cancelo, Hernandez, Hakimi all could interchange for themselves in terms of wingbacks. Eder Militao is probably the only proper lock for what he did both for Brazil, but specifically for Real Madrid. Take out Militao instead. Take out Militao. Do you watch football? Take out Militao. Do you remember what he did for Real Madrid? Do you? Yes. He was massively instrumental. Him and Alaba for Real Madrid's Champions League win. Yes. Yes, I do. I don't think you do. No Marquinhos? Crazy? Absolutely not crazy at all. Dude, Militao, so versatile, being used everywhere, forced to play, and then did incredibly at right back. Played, what was it, 120 minutes against Croatia at right back? I know he grew up playing at right back and stuff like that, but for the most part hasn't played in ages there, and yet his country asked that of him and was amazing. Half the team should be Madrid, to be honest. You're not wrong, and it will be in some instances. So let's move on. I'm sticking with this. We could sit here and have this debate forever. I mean, we're like 20 minutes into this episode. I told you guys these Team of the Year discussions take forever. This is what I'm going with. Let me know your comments. Hey, maybe don't be abusive like my Twitch chat is, right? So my Twitch chat with what I'm saying, they're literally questioning me as a human being for choosing Theo Hernandez.
In a half of an year, I would value league performance over World Cup. World Cup is max 7 games, league is way more.
King, you know what? Your opinion's allowed. Your opinion's allowed. I'm just going to leave it at that. I disagree. But, dude, World Cup comes every 4 years. The World Cup comes every 4 years. If anyone dares say Messi doesn't deserve to be in it because he's a lock, I'm going to lose my mind. Okay? I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, let's just continue on. Midfield, there's 2 players that are a lock. Again, if you disagree, I'm sorry. In my opinion, you're just not looking at it the right way. I'm not going to go as far as saying is that you don't have a footballing brain, but you're just not looking at it the right way. There's 2 players that are a lock in this midfield, and to me, if you he better be in here, EA. There he is. This is a lock. There's no discussion beyond this point. There's no discussion beyond this point. These 2 are a lock for the Team of the Year, for the calendar year. Modric for the World Cup as well as the calendar year. De Bruyne mainly for the calendar year for his club. I mean, Roberto Martinez, that fraud, and how that Belgian team was being run was diabolical. De Bruyne, their couple of games wasn't great. But I would say absolutely that was more of a product of the idiots that were around him and the idiot that was managing the team for Belgium than De Bruyne overall not being deserving of being in Team of the Year. So anyways, these 2 are a lock. This is where the discussion comes in. As a Leeds fan, one player that probably should get in that makes me want to throw up if I actually pick him is got to be Casemiro. Casemiro was instrumental for Real Madrid, and then goes to Man United, and Man United are trash for the most part, and therefore, and furthermore, Casemiro is probably one of the shining points for for Manchester United, and then was also pretty cracked, right, for Brazil. So it makes me sick in saying this, but I would make an argument for Casemiro to be the guy that gets in, even though he's a Man United player and it makes me want to barf. I would say Casemiro is the third. The only other one that I would argue for would be Fede Valverde. A lot of people that have recency bias will say, wouldn't even bring Fede Valverde into the conversation. Once again, because of how clueless, very similar to KDB in the international stage with Roberto Martinez and Belgium, I would say people would exclude Fede Valverde because the Uruguayan national team coach is a moron and completely misused pretty much everybody in that Uruguayan setup, but mostly was misusing Fede Valverde in that setup. Fede Valverde's season at Real Madrid, both in terms of their Champions League win.
Militao and Alaba were amazing for Real Madrid last year. Some Prem fans are so clueless.
Agreed. And this makes my point. Fede Valverde was so good for Real, both in their run-up and still this season, in the midfield, in wing-back, at right mid, at right wing, at right forward, at cam, at DM, I'm sure Real fans would agree. So it almost makes me sad of how many people are just dismissing Fede Valverde. You could make another argument for Kimmich, I would say, in some way. I mean, obviously not for national team level. But again, you don't want to just write someone off for a poor national team performance, because then you'd be writing off KDB, and you'd be insane for writing off KDB for the team of the year based off of how garbage Belgium were. So similarly, maybe it's not fair to write off Kimmich. And again, I at risk of repeating myself, if Fede has to be in these choices. Is Fede? They didn't include Fede? No way, right? No way they didn't include Fede. Okay, so there he is. I would say Fede deserves to get in. Okay? I would say Casemiro deserves to get in. I would say, again, Portugal were a bit disappointing, but the consistent shining light for Portugal, and I would say overall as well, Bernardo Silva at City. Bernardo Silva probably could make the argument as well. Hey, now, if you want to include club football also...
best player in English national team and in his club team.
Doesn't matter. That doesn't mean he gets anywhere near a team of the year. At least not yet. Bellingham maybe, but not yet. Bellingham will probably be in the team of the year soon and probably be a lock in the team of the year for a while, but not yet, in my opinion. So I would say the 5 guys that we can make a discussion to get in with the 2 locks for the team of the year. Mane is another one, but Mane had a terrible injury and it was heartbreaking, but I do think that hurts him. Would you agree? Mane, I think, should be part of the conversation, but I think unfortunately because he was injured, and then obviously couldn't participate in the World Cup, it's unlucky, but I think based off of what other players have done beyond when Mane was injured, I don't think he gets in. I think he should be part of the conversation, but I do think he doesn't get in. So let's say Mane could be part of the conversation, Kimmich could be part of the conversation, Bernardo Silva could be part of the conversation, Fede Valverde could be part of the conversation. But if I consider everything, and look, you should understand that people always say I'm a biased Leeds fan, or I'm biased to Dutch players, I'm biased to Canadian players. Look, Fonzie's not in. If I was biased, I'd put Fonzie in. If I was biased, I would put Virgil in. I'd put Ake in. I'd put Frimpong in, right? I would say, as much as this makes me sick, I genuinely believe Rodri! Are people saying Rodri? Rodri? I mean, he was kind of all right for Spain at center back and decent and crucial to City, but Rodri ahead of a Casemiro or a Fede Valverde. Y'all are on drugs if you say Rodri, bro.
To a great streamer.
Yeah, if the midfield was able to have 8 players in it, I'd put Rodri in a top 8 for the team of the year. Sure. If we could do a top 3 and then 7 honorable mentions in the midfield, Rodri would be in there. 100%. 100%. Look, I want to say Fede, and I think if Uruguay was managed better and Fede was able to play where he wanted to, and Uruguay went farther in the World Cup, Fede would pip the conversation. I gotta pause these. You guys are like skewing my conversation here. I gotta pause these alerts. Thank you for the bits, but I need to get my point across. This is taking too long. Between the two, as much as it grosses me out to say it, I would pick Casemiro because of the Brazil run. I would. Rodri is the glue for Man City. He's like Busquets, so overlooked. He's not overlooked. It's that other players did better. If Casemiro didn't and wasn't instrumental in Real Madrid's Champions League win, and then instrumental for Brazil's run, and instrumental for Man United, if none of that was a conversation, I'd say, okay, we can talk about Rodri. Bro, what are you talking about, man? Do you guys make these conversations about Rodri and the Premier League and then ignore all Champions League conversations and all World Cup conversations? And you guys say, I'm clueless? In that sense, then Gundogan should get in. Exactly. Madness, man. Sometimes I wish I did have the Twitch chat flowing right under my face here. I'm going Casemiro. As much as it makes me sick, I'm going Casemiro. I think you interchange Casemiro or Fetty. I think Casemiro gets in ahead because of the World Cup stuff. I think Casemiro gets in. I hate to say it. Makes me sick. I want to puke as a Leeds fan, but I think he gets in, dude. He's just too good. He's just too good. He's just too good. So anyways, this to me, there's only... The top 3 isn't what the top 3 is if you ignore the World Cup. The top 3 is a lock if you include the season, last season, Champions League run, this season, and specifically the World Cup. I know Messi, people will say Messi doesn't get in if you ignore the World Cup, but you can, in his mid-30s, he carried his country in a big way. You want to say penalties, you want to say FIFA's corrupt, whatever. At the end of the day, you're a hater if you ignore everything Messi did. The way he was pressing, the way he was passing. Messi could have had about 9 assists if Lautaro Martinez put on his boots and decided to not be Higuain 2.0 in those last few games, okay? Messi was outrageous at the World Cup and also has been pretty incredible at the start of the season for PSG as well. So is Mbappe, and also Mbappe was incredible at the World Cup. So I'm including my thoughts about the World Cup. I'm including my thoughts of how pivotal and how big of a competition the World Cup is and how amazing Mbappe and Messi were. They're a lock to me, man. You guys can hate me all you want. You can absolutely hate me all you want. But to me, imagine Mbappe and Messi aren't in the voting. Okay, there they are. To me, as much as it's going to make you guys mad, these two are a lock. Based off of their World Cups, and in a way, based off of their starts at PSG as well, helping the situation. But mainly because of their World Cup performances, they're a lock, man. They're a lock. I'm sorry. They're a lock. And then the one that is absolutely a lock, but honestly on the exact flip side of the argument, because he absolutely couldn't do anything in the World Cup because he was injured, the complete opposite part of the argument, but 100% a lock, obviously is Benzema, Ballon d'Or winner, but also lights out and massively important for Real Madrid, both in the Champions League and the league. I gotta say, man, that's the move. So again, if you ignore the World Cup, Mbappe doesn't get anywhere near it. Messi doesn't get anywhere near it. I'd probably put Vinny in there. If you ignore the World Cup, I'd put Vinny in there, I think. For sure. If you ignore the World Cup, I would put Vinny in there. Absolutely. And I probably would put Haaland in there. If the World Cup wasn't a thing, my front 3 would be Vinny, Haaland, and Benz. Haaland over Benzema right now. See, this is why you can't, Twitch chat shouldn't be voting. So, if the World Cup wasn't a thing, this team would probably be quite different, I would say. But hopefully YouTube, in all of the hateful messages that I'm sure to be getting here, I hope you can understand that the way and how and why we put this team together is because to me the World Cup is the biggest competition on earth. It is the most important competition. And in a World Cup year, what happens in a World Cup, especially when a player individually performs the way they did, the way Mbappe and Messi did, I think it's important to put it in there. Now, again, I also hopefully you can see that I'm not ignoring the leagues, right? Because if I were to just say the World Cup is important and ignore the leagues, well, then De Bruyne and Benzema don't get in, right? But I mean, Benzema was insane, and so was De Bruyne in the leagues. So I hope you can see my balanced approach. I think Casemiro is a combination of the both. I think Modric is a combination of the both. I think Theo Hernandez in a way and Hakimi in a way is probably like league, and then Hakimi is World Cup. So I know that there's some holes in the argument there for some of these players, but for me, I think this is the best I can do. I'm disgusted that Alaba isn't in these choices. I don't understand how that even makes any sense. I really don't understand how that makes any sense, but to me, that is my submitted team of the year. So I love you guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this discussion. Hopefully if you disagree with me and you think Fetty should be in instead of Casemiro, or you think absolutely Hakimi shouldn't be in and Hakimi should be replaced by Thiago Silva or Ruben Dias or whatever you want, feel free to let me know in the comment section. You know, you hit me up on Twitter. I will be posting this on Twitter as well if you want to get in the mentions there. But can we not be horrible about it? Like, can you not attack me as a human being about it? Because, like, I don't look at my mentions anymore. I really don't read the comments anymore when I do stuff like this. Because people preface their opinion by saying, you're a Canadian cunt, stick to hockey, this team sucks because you didn't do this. Like, can we just be a little bit better to each other in the social comments? I love you. And on what I think is an absolute bombshell discussion and bombshell team of the year. If that team of the year gets in, I'm hyped. I'm hyped. We'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.